Crazy.
Let's test it out. Let me go on my YouTube. Let's see how it's sounding. Make sure my volume's all the way up.
I don't have any adapters on me.
Let's see. Make sure my volume's all the way up. Oh, that's better. Let's see. Make sure my volume's all the way up. Oh, that's better. Yeah, there's not that because before in the other recordings there would be like this low hum, and that's not in here. So that's great. So let me share this. Let's see. Share, create post. We live.
Dope, dope.
Come talk science, bitch. No.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay, let me bring this up. Boom. What up, y'all? Tester. We making sure the sound is all gravy. Let's see.
Yeah, okay, that's better.
There we go.
Boom. You can hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, okay.
Oh,
Then I'm ready.
snap. What is good, y'all? This is the Science Fair episode 6. We got Kenyo and Mr. Composition.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Science Fair.
Oh,
I'm
making sure
readier than ever.
y'all can hear us. Let me make sure I got
I
the.
haven't tried the screen share yet, but I'm sure it'll work out.
Yeah, I think we just got to get your volume just a little bit more up.
Okay, let me
Oh,
see.
there we go. No, I think you just got to talk into it because it was loud
Yeah,
there.
let me turn this up.
And let me bring up a couple of things here. Bada bing. Man, the year is almost up.
Yeah, boom.
And there's some gangster science
How's that?
stuff.
How's that?
Oh, that's better. That's better.
Alrighty, yeah. Let me turn this a little bit so I can be looking straight.
Oh man, yeah, we up in the place, man. It is the end of the year. What is
Mm.
going on with you?
Man. End of the year, end of the year. Okay, I can start with my little pocket of science fairness. Because what I'm up to when it comes to this stuff that we love, science, I've actually slowed down on. I feel like I filled up my brain with so much just pure physics and stuff in the early part of the year that to digest it, I've been moving myself a little bit more into the art sphere, looking at art media accounts, painting more myself. Because my brain, that's how I think I learn the best is by switching subjects sometimes. But also in consumption, um, audiobooks I'm listening to. I told you about the one where it was like an isekai, but it was an actual dungeon. The dude isekai not as a character, but he isekai as a dungeon. It's called Dungeon Life by this author named Kanal. And then, but that one, I finished book 2. So I moved on to this other one that's super funny, and it's called Beware of Chicken.
What?
And it's this book. This dude Isakai's into this reality, and he's like super overpowered, but he decides he wants to become a farmer, and then like he buys some chickens, and one of the roosters is like I guess spending so much time with him that it becomes like a spirit animal, and it's like able to think and be intelligent. Anyway, I just started that one, but it's pretty funny already, pretty interesting. So the audiobooks have been hitting heavy. I'll be on online. Tried to play some of that. I told you I quit when they stole all my stuff, but I went back. Buy even more stuff. They stole it again. Now I don't think I could. I don't think I could go back into Albion online, but we'll see because I got some money in there still. So
Nah, that
How about you?
no,
What's going down
you
with
was telling me about that isekai, and I was just all like,
you?
to have an isekai where you are the freaking cave, like
Right?
that joint is fire. That joint is fire, and I think that we are going to see a crazy influx as far as like audiobooks and just audio storytelling in general, because I'm seeing more and more people not necessarily have it in the background, but you can do a lot with an audiobook that you just can't, because like if you're watching the video, because of the simple fact of you gotta pay attention, but with the audiobooks, driving, exercising, doing, work around the house or whatever, and you can still be immersed in the story that you're wanting to listen to. And I think now more than ever, I think people are looking for certain levels of escape. But even with so much stuff out there, even if you look up the isekai genre, so much stuff out there,
Mm-hmm.
and people still want more, because I think that there's way more stories. I think people, creators, they'll find a particular niche, and then they're just all like, okay, let me just blow that particular niche up, so
Mm-hmm.
it'll be a lot of isekais about, somebody being isekai to another land, and that's pretty much it. They maybe start from nothing, or maybe they're overpowered,
Yeah.
and people just stuck with that, where when I hear something like the cave one, or I hear other ways the isekai, it's just all like, oh yeah, there's still so much more, that you're able to do. I mean, what, the time I got reincarnated as slime,
Oh yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
got the other isekais
Yeah.
where they're
I watched
in
that one.
game systems, or like games in general. There's so many of those, so there's so much room. There's so much room.
Oh no, yeah. They're doing I'm especially in the lit RPG, the audiobook thing. It's not just I can't tell really where a lot of these I don't do a lot of research. It seems like a lot of them aren't necessarily Japanese audience, at least ones I'm in contact with. So that ends up ways of every definitely a really, really good
So the sound. So for some reason your mic is going like in and out.
oh. Why are you doing that? Cheap piece of
Don't worry, out. We rolling through. While the King Meister is getting that going, we are going to look at some stuff that I found that was interesting, to get some science stuff underway. So this is from Quantum Insider. So this is the first successful proof of quantum teleportation between two different quantum dots. Now, it says this is basically like the brief summary. So, researchers led by Paderborn University report the first successful teleportation of a photon's polarization state between two spatially separated quantum dots. And so the team demonstrated quantum teleportation over a 270-meter free space link, achieving an 82% fidelity that surpasses the classical threshold. Heck yeah, finally catching live stream with the
better.
Dab Show itself. What's up, Paul W? Yeah, we diving into the mix here.
I heard
Uh,
that. I heard that because I got the Bluetooth earbuds in, so I was hearing the first teleportation between quantum dots. Is this mic better, by the way?
Yes, it's a lot better. But I
Okay.
think, yeah, if you're gonna have to like speak into it, because I think for some reason it's not catching when
Oh,
you're
it's
far
like
away.
okay. All right, I'm gonna have to be like this the whole time, right up on them. But yeah, no, that's fine. No, but that sounds pretty interesting. What was that again? Because I want to look that up while you're talking
Yeah,
about it.
so this was from Quantum Insider. So, first successful proof of quantum teleportation between two different quantum dots. Um, an international research team involving Paderborn University has achieved a decisive breakthrough on the road to the quantum internet. For the first time, it has been possible to teleport a polarization state of a single photon emitted from one quantum dot to a photon from another spatially separated quantum dot. In simpler terms, this means that the properties of one light particle, the photon, could be transferred to another by means of teleportation.
This is really interesting. Yeah, I'm looking at that article right now.
And shout out to Paul W. He said, "Sorry, dude, you got to eat the mic, but you sounded clear." Yeah, he
Absolutely,
was
no
saying
worries.
80%,
On it.
82% fidelity isn't the greatest. I mean, if it was you, something's getting left behind. Yo, definitely, definitely. I think that what makes this so dope is the fact that it is even getting to this point in general, because 82% now is going to equal 100% pretty freaking soon. But I definitely agree. If I'm not jumping in something that I could 82%, 82% get
Oh yeah,
transferred.
yeah. And I mean, yeah. I don't think you're ever gonna want to be teleported in life because no matter what, I'm pretty sure you die upon teleportation. Even if they make an exact, because a lot of this teleportation stuff is kind of like printing. You know, like even if they can send the data, the atoms they use, it's not gonna be you because you can't get the atoms. So it's gonna work
Oh
with everything.
man, we losing
But
you again. We losing you
what?
again. Yeah, I
What
don't know.
kind of?
Maybe it's the change to a different port.
You know what? Let me just go. Let me go. I'm trying to be fancy with the mic. I'm just trying to use the laptop. I can see how that works.
But shout out to Paul W. It is an exciting start, though. It is crazy the fact that I think the only thing that I would like, I personally, I would like faster speed. Like what we experienced in Japan, because I seen someone else talk about Japan, and they was talking about the bullet train, and it's just all like I think that I would rather have something that transports me faster than to teleporting. Um, he said that is a big existential question. Is it you coming out the other side or just a copy that thinks it's you? Oh, shout out to Paul W asking the
Oh yeah.
questions.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
That's
I can
fine.
hear you now.
Okay. That's just the regular old laptop thing. Yeah, no, it's definitely not. I mean, it depends, but I'm pretty sure it's not you. I'm pretty sure it's not you because you just. I think my idea, at least. Anyway, it's gonna be a long time before this is even gonna be like a real question, but most likely it's not gonna be you. Just like what was that movie?
And then what
Uh,
happens to the other, like the original you?
I think you just die.
Right?
I think you die, and then they recreate. And then if I think because we'd have to get to the point where we can even create life like in a lab setting, like because like we have bodies, we just don't know how to put life into bodies, right? So like let's say someone dies, how do you get that life back into them?
Hmm.
Anyway, that's we have to figure that out. But even if they do that, how do you know that's the same life? I don't know
Yeah.
if it's good. It can be a different life. You just start it all over again.
Shout out to Paul W. He said, clearer than the Verizon commercial. I can hear you now.
Woo! Thank you, Paul. Paul, I can see your comments now too. I didn't see them on the side, so that's dope.
Yeah,
That
so
is
that was
dope.
just my little introduction. What you got going down with the science anything?
Oh yeah, see, Paul said that movie too. That movie it was what was it called? The Prestige,
The
was it?
Prestige, yeah.
Yeah, where he was really just killing himself nonstop. That's crazy to me. And then they just made another one called what Mickey 17 with Robert Pattinson. I don't know if you saw that yet,
I
but it was
haven't
like a
seen that one.
sci-fi. That's like a sci-fi one. So he's a clone. So they just have a machine, and they have lots of different versions of this, but they have a machine that it's like I can't remember how it works. I think he's like uploading himself to the machine at the end of every day, so that if his clone goes out, it goes on like dangerous missions. His clone dies, and they make another one. But
Yeah, they
something
did.
happens where he doesn't die, but they make a clone, and so he's like trying to decide who should die or something like that.
They did that with the Mahler twins and Invincible. That's pretty much like the same concept that they was doing as well, where he would just be like copying himself to the point that they would be arguing, trying to be like, "I'm the real one, though. I'm the real one,"
Oh,
and it's just yeah.
yeah. I think I saw some of that. That they also did that in one. What was it My Hero Academia? Wasn't there one superhero who did something like that? But anyway, no, that's super dope. I'm gonna read over this story more because I want to see what they actually doing because I don't even know what a polarization state is. So, so they just talking over my head. Um, but let's see what else I got coming up next on mine. I got
Oh,
something that's kind of related to that. A little boring. What Paul say?
he was all like, "Yeah, I've seen Mickey 17. Great twist to it. Introduces the sudden fear of death when he realizes it isn't actually him waking up with a new number." I gotta check that
Exactly.
one out. That's the one where
Yeah,
on the cover he has like a weird hat or something like that.
something like that. Yeah. It was an interesting one. I was waiting for that one, and it finally came out. It was good. It was good. Almost good enough to see in theaters, even though I don't do that anymore. All right, so I got one that's science related as well. Kind of same kind of exact quantum physics type thing. Baryonic CP violation observed. A major discovery from the LHC Large Hadron Collider collaboration at CERN has demonstrated for the first time baryonic CP violation. This means the decay of particles made of three quarks, which is protons and neutrons, shows an asymmetry between matter and antimatter similar to the CP violation previously only seen in two quarks. Anyway, this observation is a crucial piece of the puzzle explaining the vast abundance of matter over antimatter in the universe. So they're trying to figure out why there's not a whole bunch of antimatter in the universe because it's like if antimatter and matter are the same thing, then there should be half antimatter, half matter. There should be all these kinds of random explosions going on. But they're figuring out that it's basically because antimatter is structurally less likely or something like that is basically the idea, which is pretty interesting because I don't know. I had been looking into some of that stuff as well.
Yeah, so
um
the antimatter
mhm.
is gonna be different than the dark matter, right?
Yes, antimatter is
Okay.
different from dark matter. Dark matter is they don't even know what that is. But yeah, antimatter is just like the exact opposite of matter. Whereas dark matter is a substance that they're not sure what it is that's just out there and they're trying to figure out what
See,
it is.
and that's what's interesting about like some of these sci-fi films or stories or shows because even in the comic book world, there's a lot
Mm.
of omega level beings that use antimatter as
Oh
their
yeah, yeah, yeah.
source or dark matter as their power source, and it's just like what.
Because yeah, antimatter they've seen antimatter like they have like because like anti electrons, anti protons, and stuff like that. And as soon as antimatter interacts with regular matter, it explodes, which is why it's like the craziest energy form that you could have out there because if you had like a whole teaspoon because we can make antimatter it's just very expensive but if you had like a whole teaspoon of antimatter like ridiculously expensive and you could use that as a fuel so like futuristically in a lot of sci-fis that's why they'll have like antimatter engines or like antimatter fusion reactors or things like that or whatever. And so I know this is going to lead to some more interesting, more and more interesting sci-fi stories because there's always that trickle, just like with the teleportation. Someone's going to make something off the teleportation because
And
new
it's
science comes
because
out, new sci-fi
yeah,
comes out.
I think that's why scientists and story creators, authors, I think work hand in hand, because I think when we learn some new science, this is what
Yeah.
allows for our stories to be taken to another level, because it's just like, okay, now that we got this information, and it's basically, being able to help predict, or even just like, okay, I know that this isn't possible yet, but we're this point in science, so let me use where we're currently at and create something to where somebody, a scientist or somebody, looks at that and is just like, oh, that is a really cool idea. um
I
Paul
was seeing
W
what Paul was
said,
saying.
isn't
Said,
dark
"Isn't dark
matter,
matter?" Go ahead.
oh, and the space between what is, only way I could wrap my head around. And Star Trek was all matter antimatter conversion. Each warp cell carried one. And Michael
Yeah.
Crichton's a great example of an author that does his science homework before writing.
Yeah, yeah. The authors that do that are always the dopest. Like, or at least if they get like, because I know Interstellar, they had this one legendary physicist working on that as well. Which one is that?
Freaking 2001 The Space Odyssey,
Oh, okay,
Arthur
okay.
C. Clarke. When
They
I
be going in.
seen, yeah, when I see NASA astronauts like talking to him before like and saying that that book, even though it's a fiction book, you know what I mean, but
Right.
that helped inspire. And you say he did Jurassic Park too. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like that's the type of stuff. Like to see, I haven't seen none of the newer Jurassic Parks, but I think when Jurassic Park, the first one, came out, especially movie wise, it was this layer of imagination. It's just all like, oh, well, what if, there was an island with these, dinosaurs we basically brought back. He said, "You aren't missing much. The first will always be the best." Yeah, the original Jurassic Park, classic.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah, I like
but
that in that first. Go ahead.
that what?
I was gonna say he said with that first one he said, "Isn't dark matter the void filling in spaces between what is?" Only way I can wrap my head around it. Man, that's a tricky one. Probably above my intelligence grade. I think on that
I
one.
think so, because the thing is that
Mhm.
what they're calling that is the dark matter. They say we're spaces mainly filled up of dark matter, which is
Mhm.
just invisible. Like we can't quote unquote see it, but they've been able to measure it, and so I always find that interesting. And speaking of this, so this is
Mhm.
what I was telling you about that I'm excited about. So this is from Popular Mechanics. Scientists announce a physical warp drive is now possible.
Woo.
Seriously, humans are one step closer to traveling at faster than light speed, which, like I said, I'm more excited about this than the ability to teleport. Now, this is what
Mm.
it says. A research paper proposes a fully physical realized model for warp drive. This builds on an existing model that requires negative energy and impossibility. The new model is exciting, but warp speed is still probably decades or centuries away. Now, it says that in a surprising paper, scientists say they've nailed down a physical model for a warp drive, which flies in the face of what we've long thought about the crazy concept of warp speed travel, that it requires exotic negative forces. So, to best understand what the breakthrough needs, you'll need a quick course, a crash course on the far out idea traveling through folded space.
I
So
guess
the
I can
colloquial term warp drive comes from science fiction, most famously Star Trek. The faster than light warp drive of the Federation works by colliding matter and antimatter and converting the explosive energy to propulsion. Star Trek suggests that this extraordinary power alone pushes the ship at faster than light speeds. Scientists have been studying and theorizing about faster than light space travel for decades. One major reason for our interest is pure pragmatism. Without warp drive, we're probably never making it to a neighboring star system. The closest such trip is still 4 years long at light speed.
I'm
you
not
know,
going. People need to give it up. We're not going. No, none of us are going. No, I'm just playing. But most likely, yeah, no. But that's why that's super duper cool. So they've advanced on it. Who was it who did the article? I don't know if they say. I found the article that you're looking at. I'm looking at it too. Um, I guess it's just NASA or something dropped it. But
yeah,
that's
it's they've and what's interesting about this is I've gone through this on ChatGPT, like
right.
as far as just being like, okay, how close are we, X, Y, and Z? And the main issue isn't even at this point. Well, that is a main issue, but even if we could, we would then have to create something that would be able to sustain that type of speed, So even if we had the ability, we would need something that doesn't fall apart at the near, you know,
That's supposed to be one of the benefits of this type of drive, because the issue with moving the faster you move, um the more energy you have, so you would just kind of explode. Like if you were moving at the speed of light, you would have so much energy that you yourself would turn into a nuclear bomb. um and but the thing about these ones is, since they're warping space, you're technically not moving faster. It's just that space is being warped around you. It's been taken from the front of you and put in the back of you. Kind of like, I don't know, like I don't know, but kind of like with cars right now. It's like, except for that's what our windshield does. It's like we're display the windshield. That's why aerodynamics matters in a car, because it's like displacing the air rather than it. If you had to just push through the air, you'd have to have all that friction, and so there'd be more damage. Anyway, but that's kind of one of the things that the warp drive would do. But like they say, you know, um, even the collision of antimatter and matter, that would just push us really fast. So that would still have the same problem. I think they probably have to go somewhere in there to talk about how you're using the that energy to actually warp it. And I guess mathematically they're saying it's possible. Um, but sometimes I feel like scientists, they just trying to get paid out here. So
they just trying
they
to
go
get a bag.
yeah, they'll write about the most interesting stuff. They'll be like, I might have figured it out, because they know they're gonna go viral, get another $2 million for the school or whatever. But
Oh, Paul W said, either of you heard the Kessler syndrome? Basically, by the time we can travel to other stars, there will be too much space debris in orbit to allow us to even launch safely from Earth.
yeah, they're gonna have to start cleaning up the lower atmosphere, or I don't know what you call that, but they're gonna have to start cleaning up space pretty soon, because we'd be putting stuff out there, and it takes a while for, I guess, it to fall and be
Well,
burned.
yeah, I mean, the way that it's moving, unless something has launched it and it's moving at speeds that'll F somebody up, you know.
Right.
And even when thinking about like meteors and just them passing through, he's right. And then on top of that, we also have to take into consideration on how
I haven't heard of
many
that yet, but
of these planets are even there's like solid land to even drop on. Some of these are straight up gas giants that you literally will fall through if you don't freeze or melt. Which
it's like, really, what are you going away for? I think there's so much technology. It'd be cool, but it's like there's so much technology that we can do on Earth. Earth is so overwhelmingly set up for us that there's just not a lot of reasons to go somewhere else. Like, what do you need? Like, when it comes to elements, the only thing that there's out there in the, unless we discover aliens, the only other thing out there in space is elements, and we have
yeah.
more than enough of every element that than we need. There's no even in the Earth's core. There's like they said like 100 times more gold. Not that we even need the gold. We're just using it for decoration. But if we did need it, we could go get it out the core of the Earth. It might be a little easier. Paul said, even now there are clouds of micro shards that prevent the launching of certain times. Yeah, quarter sized shards of metal traveling at subsonic speeds. Yeah, tens of thousand miles an hour. It's like a bunch of bullets constantly just in space.
Right? And I think what here's like my hypothesis. I think that really we don't need to leave Earth. I get the curiosity of it. And personally, I think that even if we were to find some other species, we do not like sometimes I think humans we think like everything would operate like us. And it's just all like we can land on some spot and think that we're like making connection and they look at it as a declaration of war. It's just all like we do not know. And even sometimes I ask myself because they've stated, in Congress, they're just all like what we have obtained is far beyond what we have. We're talking about what's available to the public, what's not available to the public, all the little like random stuff that be tested on and stuff that isn't, shown to the public. They are still saying that we are hundreds of years behind what they've obtained, and it's just all like, so what would we actually be able to do if they have stuff that, can straight up demolish us without even flinching? It's like, what are we actually gonna do? um Paul W said, Dark Forest Theory. We don't encounter other life because it's all hiding from more sophisticated predators. Smart aliens stay hidden to avoid being intergalactic chow.
This is also why I really like stories and books too, because a lot of authors spend a lot of time really exploring some of these concepts way more than scientists do, because scientists, they got science to do. But a lot of these, authors, they got time, because I just, there's books like one book I read, it was kind of like an isekai thing, but it was a little weird. These aliens came and they delivered this like portal system that allows you to go into this 3D virtual reality version of the universe, um, that all alien races use apparently. And
Hmm.
basically, though, you would have to get to a certain level of sophistication before those aliens would come talk to you. But that's just one out of like, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of great sci-fis out there that explore so many of these topics, because there are lots of really interesting questions. I think it really, that's why it's just like, man, like I wonder if we would ever really encounter aliens. I feel like if we've already encountered aliens or if we are going to encounter them, I think they would just have to be so different that we would never interact with them regularly. I don't know, because there's probably so many different, there's probably whole things moving around that we can't even see already.
Yeah.
So I would assume that they would be along the lines of something like that, because like how often does intelligence really need a physical body or something like that? I don't know, but it's crazy stuff. Let's keep it moving, because we that's a dope one though.
Yeah, Paul W said that the Dark Forest theory comes from the author that wrote the Three Body Problem that's on Netflix
Mm.
right now. And I heard of the Three Body Problem. I haven't seen it though. I heard it was good though.
I started watching it. It got too deep for me. It's too fast. I said, wait a second. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to digest this in the next 3 years. Let me go ahead and just keep it pushing. I started watching. I watched like the first 2 episodes. It's really out there though. It's like one of those really interesting sci-fi, like mind bending sci-fis. All right. Should I stay in the science or should I go to? I'll go to this because this was really interesting to me. Let's see if I can find it. Um, basically, really quick little dive into anime really fast. Free Ren season 2, January 16th. I'm super duper excited. I don't know if did you watch the first season of Fair
I'm okay. So during this little winter time, I'm going to be getting
Okay.
caught up because I
Yeah.
haven't watched that yet. I haven't watched anything but the first
Sakamoto
episode of
Days season two.
Mashal. Yeah, so I got to get caught up
Okay.
on all of that. But January as well, the last
Okay.
season of Fire Force is dropping
Oh, see, I
January
have.
10th.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. So January is going to be a big deal.
Yes, yes. I'm just saw like they got some bangers dropping. I want to say Bleach, Thousand Year Old Blood War. Oh, and Hell's Paradise. Hell's Paradise season 2 is gonna be dropping in
Oh, wow.
January as well. I'm all like,
That's so ridiculous.
oh snap, it's going down.
So January's anime drop month. I just watched the second season of Sakamoto Days. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm caught up on Sakamoto.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I need to get caught up on. I think Gachigaku. I'm probably like an episode behind, and I think they finished up season 2 of Kaiju number 8. I read the manga, like I'm just waiting for them to drop some stuff, and I want to say Black Clover the next season should be dropping in 2026. It
Oh,
should
wow.
be. I've been seeing
Yeah, it should be.
they dropped the little mini teaser trailer. I'm like, oh, this is about to be epic. This is about to break some internet because I already know what goes on in the manga, and this being adapted, because they stopped right before it was already epic. Seeing
Yeah,
freaking Asta and Yabi go against Dante double team, freaking like that was freaking epic. But
yeah,
what they're about to get into, what they're
yeah.
about to get into.
Yeah, no. Black Clover is definitely one of the best ones. Really cool power system there. Paul said is back on the aliens, I think. Hitchhiker's Guide to the okay, to the Galaxy take is that gray aliens probing folks and aliens visiting are just teenagers out for joyriding. Yeah, see, there's so
Yeah,
many different ways it could go down because it's true. Like, imagine if they're really way more advanced, it's gonna be their kids playing with us, not even the adults.
right.
But that's dope. And other Sakamoto news, it says that they're gonna do a live action
They could definitely
Sakamoto
do
Days
that.
film.
They could definitely do that. There's certain
And
things that it's just like because it's basically gonna be like John Wick meets like some fat person. I don't know, like Beverly
what
Hills
was it
Cops or
Joe Dart,
something.
Joe Bart, or whatever?
Yeah, like they could definitely do that live action.
They weren't racist.
Oh, so
It'd be perfect for me.
I
Yeah.
found this super super dope. So this is from CNBC.com. 30-year-old's poetry side hustle brings in $12,000 a month. How he built it. So, Rashawn Brown, founder and CEO of Poetry Me, please performing and spoken word piece. After Rashawn Brown finished his first major gig as a spoken word poet, opening for best-selling author and poet Rupi Kaur, whoa, at the King's
Oh,
Theater in Brooklyn, New York in December 2022,
sorry, Ruby. I was just joking.
he
Ruby.
stepped outside and celebrated on the empty winter street. We're changing the game of poetry, he said in a video recorded after the event. Standing on Tilden Avenue, grinning, he yelled, "One day we're going to be in King's Theater, or sell out King's Theater, the Apollo Theater." Brown, an ESPN product manager by day, was referencing his side hustle, a New York based business called Poetry Me Please. It's a spoken word poetry showcase that hosts monthly events primarily in New York. Selected
Mm,
artists, usually 10 per event, perform for free, in contrast to poetry events that charge performers entry fees and get videos and photos of their appearance after each showcase. Bro, didn't we? talk
Oh, come on.
about this in like earlier
Talk about it. We
stages.
did it
Well,
already.
yes, but I'm saying as far as like the whole thing, as far as like giving the performers digital content, like that was the
Yeah.
thing, like getting the
Yeah.
digital content. But he said that most of the revenue comes from ticket sales, and it's largely
Mm.
offset by the cost of running the event. Poetry Me Please profited $500 in
Yeah.
2024, and Brown reinvests that back
Mm.
into the business. He says he doesn't take an income from the side hustle despite its demanding hours, anywhere from 20 to 80 hours per week, depending on the season, he knows. Other
That's,
staffers do get paid. Brown hires at least 10 contractors per event, like DJs, videographers, and people manning the doors, plus a team including the chief of staff, agent, social media manager, and product manager.
yeah. Yeah, no, see, that's brilliant. But I mean, like he said though, he's breaking even because
Yeah.
I think that's exactly why I even burnt out of that type of thing. Because the issue, I mean, there becomes a lot of issue when you're just hosting events for other people. Because like once somebody's good enough to be at your event, they're not going to want to be at your event anymore. So you're always going to be looking for new people. New York is probably the easiest place to do that, at least though. So it probably makes it a lot easier for them. But that's what we was doing, to be
Yeah.
honest. I mean, the best version of that, which is you create a weekly venue and you create a stage for people to get up on. We had the cameras, you know what I'm saying? So we had video because when you think about our leverage, that was the only leverage that we really had was that we were doing a better job of other people filming it and making content about it. Um, but yeah, no, that is sickness with the quickness. In New York, it makes perfect sense too because now he can leverage that. Now he has a business. He's in Forbes. I'm sure the deals are just flooding in.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, let me see. My next one. I don't have any more anime stuff. I like that one. That was a good one. I need more stuff that's just random topics like that. Um, Only thing else I saw that was interesting in science, I guess, was it the National Academies of Sciences said that we should really be focusing on looking for life on Mars. Um, I guess that's less of like an alien thing and more of like,
Another sustainable place to live.
yeah, and then like figuring out like what like microorganisms or whatever used to live out there, something like that. They're looking for because I
Oh
guess
no,
I don't know.
Mars is interesting. I get it to some extent, but I'm like, there's an obsession. I think with Mars.
There's nowhere else to go. Like, and there's Mars is probably the only real other planet that we could ever actually go to as human beings,
Yeah,
because you Venus will kill us.
yeah.
Mercury
They got
probably
clouds
kill
of
us.
ice.
Yeah, Mercury's probably no. We could probably go to one of Saturn's moons, but Saturn would most likely kill us. Jupiter's gonna kill us for sure. It doesn't even have a ground. Uranus, I don't even think has a ground. That would kill us. Pluto, trying to
They
get
don't
there
even
would probably
consider it
kill
a
us.
damn planet
Yeah,
anymore.
it's not even a planet. Mars, we might as the Mars makes at least a little bit of sense, but still, it just doesn't make that much. For how much it costs, I think we could do a lot of stuff on Earth for the money we're spending trying to get out to Mars. Like a lot of. So you could save so many lives. You could fix so
Oh
much
yeah. I
stuff.
got another one before we look at those discoveries we missed in 2025 video.
Oh dang!
The Paul W said, I heard a recent story on the moon origins. Now they figure a giant asteroid hit Earth and the debris formed into the moon, an asteroid bigger than the Dino Killer. They were looking at some of the trace metal compositions as they are identical to some Earth core, and the probability of that happening and not being of Earth's origin is slim. That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
That's
that's
really.
freaking. But
Once you
this
start
one,
thinking about how the freaking universe came together. It's wild to think about. It's just wild. Everybody here is in space. We act like space is somewhere else. We're all space made
Right.
dust. It's crazy.
Now, I got this one from SciTech Daily. So, scientists find a hidden brain switch that makes habits form fast. Um, Scientists discover that altering levels of the KCC2 protein can dramatically change how the brain forms reward associations. So,
Mm,
reduced KCC2 boosts dopamine activity, making new habits, good or bad, form more
mm,
easily. So, um, they was talking about how the brain, influences learning, but then they said KCC2 levels influence dopamine firing and reward learning. The investigators found that shifts in learning can arise when levels of the KCC2 proteins change. When KCC2 levels drop, dopamine neurons tend to fire more often. This increases in
mm,
dopamine activity can promote the formation of new reward links. Dopamine neurons are specialized nerve cells responsible for producing and releasing dopamine, a neurotransmitter involved in reward, motivation, and movement. To explore this process, the researchers examined rodent brain tissues and monitored how lab rats behave during classic Pavlovian cue reward tests. In these experiments, a brief sound signaled that a sugar cube was coming. In addition to tracking how changes in KCC2 affected the speed of the neurons firing, the team discovered that synchronized bursts of activity among neurons could unexpectedly boost dopamine release. These short dopamine spikes appear to play an important role in how the brain assigns value to shared experiences and learns them.
mm. See, that's really interesting. I mean, it just made me think about neural networks. I was watching one video on AI neural networks, and I was just like, it is pretty crazy that we're able to do so much stuff with our brain. And it's like the analog version. I mean, the digital versions that they created that are so complex. I wanted to do some more research into neuro. I don't know anything about the brain, really. Like, I've not done any research on that. Paul said, not sure why that reminds me of the Ozempic studies that are finding out that it impacts the dopamine systems and is helping addicts by reducing cravings through better regulation of dopamine. So fascinating, just the way the brain records information. I think that's what I'm really liking even out of AI. Like I think people are focusing on whatever they choose to focus on, but I think the change in the way that we look at data and really understand what like algorithms do and like how you change how you get something to learn about something at all is kind of
Yeah.
interesting because like having computers that can learn a little bit, we're right at that point where we could be having everyone could have their own personal robot where personal PRs are a thing.
Yeah.
Personal robots would be crazy, but
Right? No, we're
that's
getting to some dope levels.
yeah. Okay, one more maybe before we get into that video then. Um, Netflix acquires Warner Bros. The biggest news in movie history. Netflix is getting ready to buy Warner Bros, which means Netflix would own HBO, the DC universe, and Harry Potter, all under Netflix. Not to mention CNN and a bunch of other stuff, but
I don't
um
know why people are acting surprised, honestly.
I mean, it's happened so many different times to so many different companies.
Didn't Disney acquire all these big freaking
Yeah,
what you would call it? Like to me, I'm like Netflix. This was bound to happen. Like I don't
yeah.
think I know people do realize how big Netflix is, and I think that a lot of people because I've been seeing some stuff on it. I didn't know too much what was going on, but
Mhm.
hearing about it, it's just all like okay. For one, Netflix has been pumping out. original content. The only other thing right now that honestly, and it may be kind of funny to think about, is Tubi.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
People are
Tubi,
really, including myself, are sleeping on Tubi.
yeah, I haven't watched much of it, but the fact that I've been seeing content around it, it is crazy. So I'm sitting there and I'm just all like, yeah, this is I think the natural progression that a big studio would end up getting acquired,
Yeah,
by Netflix. I think
yeah.
whether it was going to be Warner Brothers or the thing is,
Paramount was the other people trying to get it, so it would have been huge no matter what.
yeah, and the thing is, there's going to be a lot of consolidation. I don't think a lot of people realize how many of these companies are just branches of a bigger company. So on paper, to the media, and to on the optics, it looks like they're separate. Even going, you will see some companies who are mortal enemies, but they're branches of a parent company. It all goes to the same thing. So the same thing with a lot of these record labels. There'll be like the one main label, and then like little branch labels that then branch to like an indie label, but it's all under this big
Oh yeah,
label.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why they like giving all these record artist labels because it's just like, but yeah, no, exactly. You're 100% right, and then I think people also underestimate how difficult business is. It's like these companies they're consolidating because it's not so much that I mean they're shrinking definitely like because like you said Tubi movies are taking market share, TikTok is taking market share, YouTube is taking market share, and so they have to compete with all of these other up and coming business. Amazon has their own streaming service, so that's real competition for Netflix, especially because Amazon is making really big plays in the live stuff as well with they got Thursday night football. They also do some other sports. Netflix is trying to get into the live stuff. They do certain football games now on Netflix. I think Christmas, and they got boxing matches. So yeah, this is complicated business, and they got a lot of competitors. And the brands might be popular, but that doesn't necessarily mean that people are supporting it at a level to where they can stay in business. Because I'm always surprised when huge businesses they go out of business. It's like everybody knows who they are, but that doesn't mean that the way that they're operating business is sustainable.
Exactly,
Because
exactly. And Paul was saying some dope stuff. So he's all like, "You want wild? Disney owns the rights to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, making Dr. Frankenfurter a Disney princess." Yep. If you don't know what that means, Google it real quick. And he said, "Trying to find stuff that doesn't trace back to UMG. So sick of that for streamers like you. And WWE is now on Netflix." Yeah. The thing is, the at some point they are going to realize as far as what streamers and content creators do, especially when it comes to reactions. I don't think people realize how pivotal reactions were to the Kendrick versus Drake. There's compilations of just it takes everything to the next level, and when we get hit with copyrights, even if the artists themselves are just all like, yo, I'm cool with it, but the label itself has their stuff, it has that stuff automatically set up, and they're just all like, ooh, we gonna just straight up take this money. Like, and we are
right.
able to put it out, but we're not able to monetize it, and so, and I'm seeing that in regards to multiple things. Japan is another big component when it comes to copyright, especially when it comes to manga and anime content. And I get it, like, you don't want to sit up there and stream a full episode or a full movie or something like on YouTube. Like, there's
Oh
just
yeah.
certain things, but it's gotten to this point where it's just like, okay, is it doing more harm than good when it comes to, you know, the continued push and promotion of this medium, you know? And with something like something like Netflix acquiring this and more stuff we're probably going to end up seeing, I think that we're going to, of course, they're going to put the money first, but I think they're going to see the value in content creators making stuff about them. Netflix can't be sitting there seeing people reacting to their movies, reacting to their TV series, and being like, "Oh, this is good." You know, like whether it is bad or good, the fact that a reactor can sit up there and review an episode of something and that has a reach of damn near a million, that is going to be eyes on that. I wouldn't be surprised if even Marvel, especially with Doomsday coming out next year and everything leading up to that, if I were them, I would start reaching out to reactors. I would start reaching out to channels whose sole identity is breaking down Marvel comics and, you know, Marvel TV shows and Marvel movies, these theory videos, and some of them have, but I don't think to the extent that they really could be going hard at.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I think, and you know, the younger companies, that's why they stay in businesses because they have some of that in there, and they have like the influencer parties. You know, it's like Netflix is smart with that. Like they did. I remember for the little time I was in LA, they had a whole Stranger Things building. You know, it's something you could come in there, do a lot of filming, and then even certain channels like TLC. They have this show called 90 Day Fiance. But anyway, they have the former cast do. There's a series that comes on right after that, and they call Pillow Talk, and they react to it. Or even The Walking Dead that did that. They had The Talking Dead right after
Yeah,
Walking Dead. They would have, so it's like the companies that understand that do better. But I think certain companies they get big, or I don't know. There's different things happen, and companies they miss out on strategies. You know, that's why they go to marketing events because they need to know what to do. They don't know what to do either. But let's play this video. Let me try to share
yes,
it with you, or else we're gonna be here for 3 hours easy.
sir.
Paul said, "I'm like a lot of folks these days, where we find reactors like yourself. That's how we find new music. Yeah, Spotify, YouTube, AI Gym. Yeah, no curation. I think is one of the craziest things. So it's like people like Dab Troll TV. That's saving time,
Right.
a lot of time. Oh, share screen or share media. Share screen. Let's try that. Here's scientific discoveries. Okay, boom.
There we
Oh,
go.
let me try full
Add
screen.
Another year is
screen.
almost
Oh,
in the books.
started playing it already.
Let's see.
Did it work?
Uh,
Boom, boom.
trying to.
Layout options, all kinds of layout options. Opt in.
Oh shit. Spotlight.
Okay. Oh, that's a little bit too big, I guess.
You
Oh,
know what?
that's
Fuck it. We'll do that one.
that one's not bad. That one's not bad. Um, all right, let's get it going.
That means another year of internet memes, political upheaval, and forgettable network sitcoms. Forget. Another year is almost in the books. That means another year of internet memes, political upheaval, and forgettable network sitcoms. We're also very disappointed, especially with you, Morning Show Season 3. But more importantly, it's another year of scientific achievement. Whether it's major medical advances, wearable technology, or the search for extraterrestrial life, 2025 has seen some truly exciting breakthroughs. Night
Chapter
vision
1.
contact lenses, no shot. Really?
Oh,
Have
dang.
you ever wished that you could see in the dark, or maybe that you could see with your eyes closed? Well, okay, probably haven't given that second one much thought outside of having a sneezing fit while driving down the highway, but this is precisely what researchers at China's University of Science and Technology unveiled back in May. The invention is called upconversion contact lenses, named because of the upconversion nanoparticles that power this innovation. All right then. These particles take near-infrared light and convert it into the visible light spectrum, allowing humans to see infrared. They even have
Oh,
the
dang.
nanoparticles convert different wavelengths into different colors, allowing for a fuller image than traditional night vision goggles, which operate in monochrome. Another potential advantage of the contact lenses is that they don't require any sort of power source, being worn directly on the eye like any other contact lens. Of course, there are a number of limitations with the technology as it currently exists. When infrared light hits the upconversion nanoparticles, it is scattered into visible light. However, because this is happening directly above the retina, the scattered light results in blurry images that no longer provide proper depth perception. Users will still be able to identify the direction an infrared signal is coming from, but the distance to the light source was anyone's guess. One solution to this was the creation of eyeglasses containing 3 layers of material, one of which was the upconversion nanoparticles. By using multiple layers slightly further from the eyes, the glasses were able to redirect the scattered light and restore depth. The trade-off for this was that these glasses only worked with the wearer's eyes open, whereas the contact lenses actually showed improved detection of infrared signals when the wearer closed their eyes. Our eyelids are better at blocking visible light than infrared, so closing them means the noise created by visible light is reduced that would have otherwise distracted the wearer from the infrared signal. Currently, there are a lot of limitations to this
Right.
technology, some of which we've touched upon already. The contact lenses produce blurry images without depth, they can only see near infrared, and the light source needs to be relatively bright. This means they won't be useful for any sort of thermal vision, as heat is mostly emitted in the far infrared range. The main thing that these were good for was detecting signals from LEDs emitting near-infrared signals, which, while limited, isn't entirely useless. Some of the proposed uses include security, encryption, and anti-counterfeiting. But the team
Oh,
behind
wow.
these contact lenses has ambitions far
Yeah,
beyond
I'm
just
putting
night
it in the
vision. For example,
plastic.
by using nanoparticles tuned to different wavelengths of visible light rather than infrared, they hope to be able to improve the vision of colorblind people. The current contact lenses exist mainly as a proof of concept, and that concept appears to be working. It just needs a number of improvements before it will be commercially viable. Of course, one limitation to the technology may be human cowardice. Initial experiments with mice involved injecting the nanoparticles directly into their retinas with positive results, but the researchers didn't think humans would go for that. So they created the contact lenses instead. Poor mice. They were probably killed afterwards as well, because of course they were. New cure for sickle
Before it
cell
goes
anemia.
into chapter 2,
Back in 1983,
um,
8-year-old Kimberlyn Wilson George.
that
Don't mind.
is interesting. That is interesting. So basically, it's the fact that we have this concept. They said it's not perfect, but I think, and even the use for it, like he was saying, it's not going to be for, things for everyday use type of things. But again, with a lot of this stuff, this is like the beginning stages. Like, I look at the potential of what that's going to be, like the whole encryption thing and everything like that. I think that that's really, really going to be dope, and it'll be cool if people feel the way they do about AI and different things like that. I think it would be interesting to have glasses and contacts that when you have it on, it can actually detect, something that may use that, or different things like that. I think that would be cool.
No, I think that was a very cool technology. I like it best in the glasses application because if you can have a lens that can do that, relatively lightweight. Obviously, they already have the headsets, but if you can have a lens, you can probably get more clarity out of it, and then maybe you can have like swappable lenses, so it can like you can choose which lens you want to have on, and then. But no, it's very interesting that they can do that. On I never even thought about that, like capturing different wavelengths of light through a lens or something like that. Never thought about it. So that's pretty cool.
Right. Oh, Paul said 5 years from now that contact lens will be a full heads up display when in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, people like even thinking about like the Dragon Ball Z Scouters,
Oh,
like
yeah.
being able to see power levels and different things like that. I think even with just the Ray-Ban lenses and different things like that, we are going to get to those layers, the
Oh yeah.
more of like the Tony Stark tech and everything that he's got up
Oh
in
yeah.
that joint.
Check for me. I'm gonna get in the industry myself. I'm gonna get in there. Glasses. I'd love to do something with glasses, even if I don't have to make it. The thing is, there's enough scientists out there. I just want to be a reseller. So companies, go ahead, start making them because I'll sell some in my shop for sure.
Right.
Let's keep it going.
So this is a cure for sickle cell.
Okay.
George accidentally became the first person to be cured of sickle cell disease. Not only had she been suffering from sickle cell for her entire childhood, she was then diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. As part of her leukemia treatment, Kimberlin received a bone marrow transplant from her brother. This was meant to replenish her bone marrow destroyed by the chemotherapy, but it had another unexpected result. It cured her of sickle cell. Since then, bone marrow transfers have remained the cure for sickle cell disease. Unfortunately, only about 20% of sickle cell patients ever find an eligible donor. Even when they do, there are a lot of risks associated with the procedure. These can become life-threatening even before the transplant takes place, and mortality rates for bone marrow transplants are relatively high. So while there was a cure, scientists have spent decades looking for a better, safer alternative. And scientists may have finally found it in the form of lovotebeg. Good lord. It's just sold under the brand name Lyfgenia, okay? That's what we're going to go with. It's easier. You can see how the marketing boys did their thing. Lyfgenia is a type of gene therapy that uses the patient's own blood stem cells, modifying them to create hemoglobin that prevents blood cells from taking on the sickle shape. This treatment was first approved for use by the FDA in 2023, and in December of 2024, the treatment was administered to 21-year-old Sebastian Borzel of New York. In March of 2025, Sebastian's doctors announced that his sickle cell had been cured. That said, this isn't a simple treatment. While the use of a patient's stem cells eliminates the need to find a donor and removes the risk of transplant rejection, the patient still needs to undergo high-dose chemotherapy to kill their bone marrow before receiving the IV of Lyfgenia to replace that bone marrow. So the treatment certainly isn't without
Very
its
interesting.
risks, but is likely still a safer alternative
Very
than
interesting.
traditional bone marrow transplants.
That's huge,
Unfortunately, there's
Very
another issue
interesting.
that arises with many novel medical treatments, which is the cost. While this gene therapy is a one-time single-dose treatment, the cost for that treatment, wait for it, $3.1 million. That's obviously well out of reach for
Damn.
99% of the 99.999%.
3.1.
$3.1 million. Hopefully, any
Right?
further advances in this technology will bring that price down to something vaguely
Specialist
attainable for
in
the
this
average
industry.
person. Pancreatic
3.1
cancer
mil a
vaccine.
job?
Pancreatic
Oh, they
cancer
got a
is among the deadliest
pancreatic
forms.
cancer
The search for
vaccine?
extraterrestrial life 20
I
usually
think
isn't
so.
detected and are highly sought after. And in August 2025, researchers out of use well out of reach for 99% of the population. Any further advances in this
trying to-
technology will bring that price down to something vaguely attainable for the average.
I was just gonna pause it really quick because I was like, okay, that's really cool. Sickle cell, is huge, especially specifically the African American communities. Because I have a few relatives, mostly in Nigeria, that they had like severe complications with sickle cell. It's unfortunate, especially like when both of the parents had the gene, and then because there was this one couple, I don't know, I think one of my mom's aunts or something like that, or cousins, but they had like five kids, and like all of them got sickle cell.
Dang.
Most of them died at very young ages. So I can only imagine. Obviously, $3.1 million. I don't know how much insurance is going to help out with that, or who's even going to be able to do that.
You'll look at that and be like, do what?
Yeah. But hopefully, like he said, they'll lower the cost on that. But that's amazing. So, congratulations, scientists. They're probably going to get that down. I mean, you just the more times you do something, the cheaper it can get.
I like the act of them being able to use, because it makes sense. I think usually a lot of times the cure is going to come from the person themselves, and for them to go from the bone marrow transplant to this one, I think that once they start unlocking more of because I think the human body and mind is pretty fire. And I don't even think we've come close to fully understanding or unlocking the potential, of our own healing capabilities.
Oh yeah. It's interesting. I think healing is it's a very fascinating concept. Very fascinating concept because a lot of times when we talk about healing, we're really talking about killing. We're like, yo, everything but the people on my side need to die because we're in charge of this whole government of our body. Tons of cells, obviously a lot of them are ours, but then there's really our microbiome, which is tons of other residents who are just living here as well. And we don't mind certain people in small quantities, but certain immigrants on our body are murderous, and we're just like, no, we
They are murderers.
murderous immigrants. That's
They gonna be like, he's MAGA.
right. I'm like, no, I'm talking about bacteria. Um,
Oh,
it-
Paul W was saying that on a much cheaper note. Have you heard of the new research on the shingles vaccine? And shingles, if you
mm,
don't know, is basically a return to chicken pox in adulthood.
I don't think. I almost feel like we. No, we don't think we talked about that. That's awesome. I haven't heard about that one. All right.
It shows that the vaccine, it reduces and slows the onset of dementia and reduces risk of heart and stroke as well.
Whoa,
Right?
that's a good one. We need to reduce all that stuff.
I
All right.
wonder, see if you can skip through the chapters and find one where it's like a technology type of thing.
Okay. Um.
Person. Pancreatic cancer vaccine. Pancreatic cancer is among the deadliest forms
Which
of
is dope
cancer.
too.
It's also resistant to
Y'all
treatment and has a
tuned
high
in.
rate of
That
recurrence.
y'all could watch
Pancreatic
this
cancer
whole
is a
video,
welcome
but I want
innovation.
us to react to like some type of
Intrarectal
technological thing.
All
perfluordecalymph
these are health.
for
This one's even
enteral
crazy. Hey,
ventilation. And that
oh,
title
Right?
probably sounds to you like it does to me like word salad. But luckily, this new innovation has a much simpler colloquial name: proof of life on Mars. We
okay.
end
Okay, we'll
today
go with this
with
one.
what
We'll
is
go with
not
this.
only the potential biggest breakthrough of 2025, but possibly the biggest breakthrough in all of human history. Ever since humanity began sending spacecraft to Mars, there has been one primary goal: to search for signs of life on the planet. There were other goals too, like creating a map of the planet's surface, but trying to establish whether there is or ever has been life on the planet has remained a key element of every mission. Over the decades, there have been a number of discoveries that were exciting at the time, but in every instance, scientists were able to come up with an alternative explanation for what was found that didn't require life. That is, until this year. In 2024, the Perseverance rover collected a rock sample from what is believed to be a dried-up lake. The rock was covered in white spots with black rings, referred to as leopard spots. These leopard spots, which can be found on Earth rocks as well, are often considered biosignature, evidence that bacterial life was once active in the area. Perseverance ran experiments on the rock, and over the next year, the data was examined by NASA and peer-reviewed before being published in September of 2025. The short version is that different bacteria use iron and sulfur to power their metabolism, and the resulting byproducts are iron phosphate and iron sulfide. Those are the two compounds that the leopard spots on Mars were made of, which could potentially be proof that life once existed on Mars. Of course, we know from analyzing these same samples on Earth that there are other ways for these leopard spots to form. If the area had either been extremely hot or extremely acidic, the same chemical reactions could have taken place without the need for bacteria to have existed. However, all of the other evidence suggests that the area was neither hot nor acidic, which leaves bacteria as the only way these leopard spots could have been formed. That's or some alternative mechanism that scientists are just completely unaware of. While all other possible evidence of life found over the decades was deemed inconclusive, as there were other ways to explain what we found, we have finally found something that scientists can't explain without life having existed. Unfortunately, the Perseverance rover's testing capabilities are limited. If we could get the rock back to Earth, it would be really easy to tell whether or not the leopard spots were created by bacteria, because it's the sort of testing we do on rocks on Earth all the time. Although NASA and the European Space Agency has proposed a mission to retrieve the samples, it's currently on hold and may be cancelled entirely due to NASA budget cuts. But if we can retrieve that sample and our tests confirm that Mars was once home to microbial life, it would confirm what people have long suspected: that we're not alone in the universe. Thank you for watching.
That is fire. That is fire. So for y'all that want to see that, that's here are the 2025 scientific discoveries you missed.
Boom. Booyah kasha. Booyah karakasha. Okay, anyway. Yeah, that was dope. Life on Mars, even if we just find a bunch of bacteriums, that's pretty cool. I think what most people think about when they think about finding life in the universe is like full on aliens, but like intelligent life. But that just seems so unlikely for us to find like another branch of humans. It just doesn't seem to make sense to me. But
Right? I would imagine it would be something more worm like. We don't know where eels came from.
mm,
Yeah, I was looking at something the other day, and they said so. What they ended up doing was found basically their origin stemming from like the Bermuda Triangle, but they know that it goes through like a life cycle as far as from it being birthed and everything like that. But we've only been able to see like fully grown eels,
mm,
and they did some type of tracking on like the thousands of eels at one point, and they still cannot find them mating or them being birthed. They just saw it's like and then it's like, how are they
mm,
getting from the Bermuda Triangle? Because several different cultures throughout history depict and talk about eels, whether it be for healing, whether it be for a dish or a delicacy, or different things like that.
mm.
So it's the no, we know of the eel, but we don't know where this thing came from.
Eels, ladies and gentlemen, episode 7. We're gonna get deep. No, I'm just joking. This is episode 6. I think so. But no, that's really interesting. There's so much to discover on this planet. So much to discover, and it's so much fun to discover too. That's why I just hope we can continue to be science science driven people, always trying to push science to the next level because there's so much, man. You think about personal robots to even I don't know, yeah, figuring out more things and in the oceans, figuring out more things in higher altitudes, Mount Everest, so much cool stuff. But that's why no science fair episode will ever be dry because there's a million different things to cover.
Right? No, this was dope. I like this
Mm.
setup as far as with the EV Mux. Uh the
How much
re
is EV Mux?
I they It's the free version, and
Yeah,
they do I think have like a $20 something a month version.
okay. I have
But
to do that.
this
I
seems
remember
pretty
looking.
dope.
I was looking at like StreamYard or something like that. It was like $50 a month. I was like, "What? That's your base one? $50 a month? I am never well, never, but I gotta level up. You gotta start me. I'm used to a $20 starting point. I'm not trying to start at 50. Yeah, EV Mux has a $20. You get we can take the logo off. 12 participants, whatever. Full pro scene builder. So yeah, we might have to hit that. 2 collaborator seats. That's all we need.
And
Um,
it has several spots you can stream too. I just clicked on
yeah,
YouTube, but
you can do 4 destinations at a time. I think yeah. So that's the 19 a month if you do it annually. Let's see if you do it monthly. 25. Okay, that's not bad. Maybe by one of these next episodes, we'll start doing it. We'll start
right.
doing it up.
No, but this was dope.
That's
Any
cool.
closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts, plugs. Not really. If anyone watches this, if you use the Blue Sky app, that's the alternative to Twitter. Come find me on there at KenyoHQ. I'm trying to grow my Blue Sky. That's it,
I
really.
still need to download Blue. Let me download Blue Sky
Get
right
on Blue Sky. It's interesting too. Like I haven't even used it to its full capacities because you can tie it to the URL of your website
now.
in an
Oh,
interesting way, which is pretty cool. So I could have mine be KenyoHQ at kenyo.org or something like that, which I don't do right now. I'm just using the generic at Blue Sky, but it's cool.
Blue Sky.
Twitter like me, so you can still have fun on there, but
Blue Sky Social. And it's just Kenyo HQ on there.
Yeah,
Create an account.
I use that to just send all my articles out. So I'm still an old school dude, so I still be writing articles constantly. I just
Hey,
love writing articles.
articles. The thing is pretty much like the community post and just like post on social media are the new blog posts.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There's so many different ways to post now that it's pretty interesting. But
Set up on this joint right now.
yeah, yeah, blue
Hey,
sky, ladies
got
and
a
gentlemen.
nice little scroll going on. I'm just all like, I'm getting up
Right,
there in the age.
right.
Let's see. Dabtroll.blue sky social.
Yeah, the blue
Complete
sky.
the challenge. Your
The
challenge.
challenge. What's the challenge? I never heard of that.
I don't know. They're probably like move a freaking puzzle piece somewhere.
Oh, I see.
Paul W said, dude, old school here as well. I prefer reading a good article over a lot of videos. You can think more about what information you're taking in. No, facts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I still like the Twitter, the Twitter style or blue sky style because it's just like I like articles because you can organize the content and have the video embedded, have the link to what you want. It's cool. Videos are slowly getting there too, where you can have buttons and stuff on them. But
Oh, they got you go by your interests.
yeah,
Okay, science, tech, writer, shit,
it's not having
culture,
me pop up yet there yet. But
suggested for you. Are y'all gonna let me search for a person?
after all,
Continue. Next. Fine. This almost is giving me like what was that one flip freaking
oh
app
yeah, yeah, yeah.
flipboard?
Flip is still out there. Flipboard, yeah.
Let's see.
I almost downloaded it the other day. I was trying to find you, but I know it takes a while because when I first made mine, I couldn't find myself
Let's
for a minute.
see. Oh, there we go. Kid HQ follow.
Ooh,
Bam.
all right, that should pop up in my
Dang, I done got
notes.
up in the new app, man. Ah, snap,
Boom,
crackle, pop.
followed you back. I'm the first follower.
Bloop, bloop, bloop. Paul W said that, and there's just a beauty to the written word when someone can write well. Yeah, no facts. What
Sure.
word? That's why I love words. Like words to me, there it is an art. Just like painting. Like what people are able to do with words and you know, and describe things. That's why I'm always fascinated when I read a book and they're able to engulf me with their depiction of places I had never even
Oh
been
yeah.
before. But the way they describe it, the feeling, just everything, you can visually see it, even though you're reading
Right.
words.
That's why I love audiobooks. I feel like because I'm just like I'm having so much fun in audiobooks lately because I'm like, really, this is the densest form of media. Visuals can't contain the same density as good writing, no
Yeah.
matter what. It's a different type of entertainment that is also fun too, but the pure writing is just be it's like sailing on the sea. But anyway,
Yeah,
I think
y'all
that's
make
wrap it
sure
up right
to follow Kid Y'all Blue Sky and YouTube and TikTok and this
there.
website. And make sure
Yeah.
to check out the website dabtroll.com. And now I'm on Blue Sky. So dabtroll.sky, whatever the flip. I got to see what the is. Look up Dabtroll on Blue Sky. And dig it into Midnight Garden. Wrap it up, finishing that this month to drop. So yeah, shout out to Paul W for tuning in the whole time. Hour
Yeah.
almost there. Yo, shout out to Paul W. I wish I had a soundboard. Just
Killing it. Oh, sooner than later, we gonna grab it. Paul. Thank you, my G. and everybody else who watches at any point in time in the future, you
Right? Hey, this
just
is
won the
episode
science fair.
this is episode 6, y'all. Peace.